Welcome all you truth lovers. This is going to be a really good teaching here. We are going into the ram and the he-goat prophecy, which you and I have lived to see. It has to do with the old empires. The old empires that ran the world back in history. And we're taught here in the Old Testament that in the last days we would see these two empires, these two cultic empires, being used to bring in the peace agreement of the world by the Antichrist. So these two empires go back in occult mythology. These are the centers of all the occult. Look how they're being punished. But those are the roots of it that we're talking about here. So they're symbolized, both are symbolized by the goat, the horned beast. So here we are in chapter 8, and I'll give you the notes from the translators. Daniel's vision of the ram and the he-goat. In 1 and 13, the 2,300 days of sacrifice. 15, Gabriel comforteth Daniel and interpreteth the vision. Now, I'm going to go ahead and read it all, but I want you to think of it in two sections. The second section starts in verse 13. There's 27 verses here to get, and whenever you look at numbers, look at both sides. Look at the way God uses them, and look at the way Satan twists them. So all these numbers are going to be taught here. There's 27 verses, so think of it. First we have the first 12, and this is of the vision, but there's some very important things here. Verse 1, in the 3rd year of the reign of King, capital K, Belshazzar. Okay, now you've identified the time period. This is after King Nebuchadnezzar has went down. This is his son. Notice his name is, he's named after Bel, the most popular name for Satan back in old Babylon. So Bel, Shah as in Shaman, Czar as in leader, czar, king. Okay, so in the 3rd year of Belshazzar, a vision appeared unto me, comma, even unto me Daniel, comma, after that which appeared unto me at the first. Now he's talking about the earlier visions that he saw, the magnificent visions and prophecies we've seen earlier in this book. 2, it says, and I saw in a vision. In the parentheses starts, it says, and it came to pass when I saw that I was at Shushan in the palace, comma. Now that's Babylon. That's the old name for it. Comma, which is in the province of Elam. Okay, parentheses in. And I saw in a vision, comma, and I was by the river Ulai. Now that's right in Babylon. And that's the same empire that was prophesied to be used in the last day and taken over. Now the first part of that prophecy is done. There's more embassies there in old Babylon than anywhere in the world. It's been taken over and set up the way prophecy said. That's the first part. So here is where he is at this time. 3, it says, then I, that's Daniel, lifted up mine eyes and saw, comma, and behold, there stood before the river a ram, which had 2 horns. and the two horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last. Okay, so now to really understand how this all works, you got to understand this plot to have a peace agreement, and how these two old occult empires, even the Knights Templars, learned their occult ceremonies and traditions off these two empires. This is the roots of paganism here. And now they're being used for magic by Satan over the earth. So here we are with the last. And the last is what? It's Iran. It's Iran. Okay, in 4 now. It says, I saw the ram pushing westward and northward, comma, and southward, so that no man's might stand before him, comma. Neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand, but he did according to his will, and became great. Okay, this is your occult mythology that came from there. It has infected the world, and there's levels of it. This is the center of a great portion. All magic, all sorcery, all witchcraft, all the mythologies go right back to these two empires. Look how they've spread their wings. Look at the money flowing over the world. Look where they're at. Everywhere, in every country. Are they or are they not? All the way down now, I'm talking about the low-level Muslims. Look where they're at. But now look here in 5. It says, and as I was considering, behold, an he-goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth, comma, and touched not the ground. And the he-goat had a notable horn between his eyes. Okay, now we're getting these symbols. And we know that this is Satan. See, he's put these, his powers now getting ready to cast down and trample the world. Look what it says. He didn't touch the ground. So here he is with this power that's one of the air. And that can be spiritual, of course. Also physical. Touch not the ground. Look at the weaponry that doesn't touch the ground. Okay, so I'll go on. We're still in the symbolism here. Now in 6, the occult number 6. And he came to the ram that had 2 horns, comma, which I had seen standing before the river, comma, and the ram and ran into him in the fury of his power. Now look at that country over there. Look how desolate it is. People can't even have children. The radiation has just poisoned the whole land. That's phase number 1. 7, and I saw him come close unto the ram, and he was moved with choler against him, comma, and smote the ram, and brake his 2 horns, and there was no power in the ram to stand before him, comma, but he cast him down to the ground, and stamped upon him, and there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand. Okay, so remember these prophecies. Here we have the roots of all occult, the Medo-Persia. It is Babylon. Babylon was broke up into 2 pieces, Medo-Persia. So here they are. Here's the old country. Look what's happened and what's going to happen. What the second half of it is going to happen is Iran. In 8 it says, therefore, the he-goat, now this is the Antichrist, waxed very great. And when he was strong, the great horn was broken. And for it came up 4 notable ones toward the 4 winds of heaven. Okay. You've already seen that he's ruling the world. This Antichrist, charged by Satan. What happens during the 7-year tribulation, but it falls apart on him? What is fascinating today is go to the Club of Rome documents, and here you will see the 4 sections of the world already waiting on this. Already waiting. We see, well, if you look at prophecy now, you'll see the kings of the east coming into battle Armageddon. You'll see the king of the south and the king of the north, and they're against who? They're against the Antichrist, the power of the west. Now this is going to happen right there, and this is going to break off into the battle Armageddon. And it all happens quickly during the tribulation. Okay, now listen to this. In 9 it says, and out of one of them came forth a little horn, which waxed exceeding great, toward the south, capital S, and toward the east, capital E, and toward the pleasant land. Now, the only thing missing here in the similitude language is to call the he-goat the big horn, because it's the horn and the little horn. Remember, these people believe in the spirit of the Antichrist living on through any creature. And here you have an example of it. This Antichrist, this false prophet he's called. You'll see him in Revelations, and he causes the world to build a shrine. So we have the other ends of prophecy about this. But here he is, the little horn. That's one of the titles of not the Antichrist, but the false prophet, who is really the spirit of Satan in both of them. Okay, in 10 it says, and it waxed great even to the host of heaven. See, those are the angels. This is going to go all the way up. This battle is not just being fought here on the firmament, but in the firmament of the sky. And this Antichrist charged false prophet is demonically charged. That's why he's all the way to the host of heaven. So here it is in 10. It says, and it waxed great even to the host of heaven. That's angelic. And it cast down some of the host. That's the fallen stars. Satan gets tossed out of heaven. And of the stars to the ground, and stamped upon them. So that's angelic stamping. That's on the Melchizedek flesh battle. So here it is again, all of it. And it waxed great even to the host of heaven, comma, and it cast down some of the host, comma, and of the stars to the ground, comma, and stamped upon them. That's the power of Satan. In 11, yea, he magnified himself, even to the prince of the host. See, he says he's God here. Little p on the prince, host with H. Comma, and by him the daily sacrifice was taken away. and the place of his sanctuary, capital S, was cast down. So we know about this magnifying himself as God, causing him not to be able to do the sacrifice there in Jerusalem in front of the world. 12. And an host, that's angelic, was given him against the daily sacrifice by reason of transgression. So there is the third of the angels. They're now cast to earth. They cannot go up and down any longer. Imagine what that's going to be like. So there it is, by reason of transgression, and it cast down some of the truth. And it cast down the truth to the ground. And it practiced and prospered. Look at this, it's called it. You see, it's a beast. And it's the Antichrist system, the great whore here. We'll say it again. And an host was given him against the daily sacrifice by reason of transgression, comma, and it cast down the truth to the ground, comma, and it practiced, comma, and prospered. So there is the Antichrist system set up, and Iran destroyed. Okay, now we get the interpretation, and that is the way prophecy is written. There is the symbolic teaching, and then there is the plain speaking part.